Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud.
What's up, guys? I'd say I'm glad to be back, but I already know how this episode's going to go, so I'm not.
He hates you all, is what he's trying to say, because you're all about to clown on him and clown on us. We're about to separate some men from some boys here with what is, I guess, our final look back at 2023-24. More to come on that. But before we dive into this week's episode, and there's actually a fair bit to cover in addition to the prediction stuff, so we'll try and ping through it. Got to say thank you, as always, to our Substack founding members, Merlin Flinker, Derek Favoretto, Nasser, Carlo Fassi, Rajat, Raul Escobar, Luke Villano, Mats, MJ Kemin, Joey Gorlad, Moritz Pullman, Tito Mac, Ali Tareen, Des Windsor McGlynn. Ran it back in reverse that time, and
MJ. You forgot MJ, right?
No, I said MJ after Mats.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well.
But yeah, thank you to all of you guys for supporting what we're doing over on the Substack. I'm sure that the new chat has piqued some interest, and I say I'm sure because I know it has. We've had, basically, for those who are not aware, we set up a Substack kind of members-only chat where we'll link in some of the best stories, try to get a bit of a debate going. It can interact as a community, and I'm sure that it has gone down well because at time of checking, we've had over 500 messages in there in a few days. So,
about our lunch yesterday, so yeah.
Yes, that was very, very worthwhile discussion. I'm having chicken noodles today, if anybody's interested. Over on the Substack itself, the most recent bonus article that went out in the last 24 hours was reasons to cut Milan some slack. And it was Isaac's breakdown of basically the way that Redbird operate as an ownership group, but also the various factors that are working in our favour. You know, the positive finances, the fact we're able to invest in the squad. It's an optimistic look at where things are because there's a lot of doom and gloom stuff in the media at the moment. We also did a breakdown of all of our player ratings from the season. You might be surprised who emerged as the winner with the highest overall average rating. So you can go and check that out. The bonus podcast was a loan recap. We went through some of the cases that Milan have got to resolve, and of course talked a bit more with a bit more focus on CDK and Salamanca's. And then you've got the newsletter, and also in the last week was a bit of an exclusive update that we had on Mike Maignan and why, according to our information, he is more likely to leave than Teo this summer. So that's our Substack plug done for the week. Now we get to humiliate ourselves. We'll start with the article. So we do this every year, and the problem with it, perhaps, the issue with it, I say the issue, like, we have to do it this way, but the window obviously runs beyond the date that we do this particular article. So it went out on the 18th of August, which was before the first round of Serie A games. Of course, the transfer window runs until the end of the month. So we're making this without the squads making these calls without the squads being set. Still got a pretty good idea of where things are going to go. You know, you've got a feeling of who's going to win the league at that point and stuff like that. And so we're going to go through category by category and see who done fucked up. Okay, so where Milan will finish is the first category. I said third, you said first. Straight down the middle, and we are correct. I'd say we combined for a little alley-oop there. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to read the justifications, but if you're listening on audio, I said that I thought we made a lot of signings that needed time to gel. AJ, you said that we can make the push as long as our new players mesh quickly. I think, again, combine the two. Some of the new players did, some didn't, and therefore we ended up down the middle, finishing in second place. Isaac second, so he got it right.
We needed our defense to get their shit together, which they did not. So,
and it's a
mine has an asterisk because I was right. They didn't get their shit together. So, you know.
Yeah. Isaac got it right. Second, not good enough to win the league. New signings need time. I think he nailed it. Fair to say. Maddie and Steph said first. Lorenzo said second, so he also got it right. He said this year's Scudetto is a two-horse race between Milan and Juve, though. He got that one pretty way off. Ahmed said third. A lot of turnover and uncertainty in midfield. He ended up being correct about that, I suppose. Maxi and Ivan both put first. Rohit said second, so he got it right. Plugged a lot of holes. Team chemistry needs to be developed. Centre forward rolled out. Nikita third. Ewan, who is our resident Roma fan and a writer for the website, picked us to win the league as the best of a bad bunch. And Rajath, another feature writer for us, put us third. So we all said top four. Nobody predicted a disaster. Pretty much a first, second, third. That's your selection. And yeah, pat on the back, I guess. We were way off first, but look, it could be worse than that. I think it is going to get worse as well.
Yeah, there's a few in there I'm looking for.
Yeah, okay. So Champions League and Coppa Italia. I said that we would get to the semis and lose to Inter. You said that we would get to the semis and lose to Inter.
No, I didn't.
Oh shit! I did the Coppa bit second there.
Crash and burn. Drop to Europa.
Yeah. Okay, right. So the Champions League bit was first. The draw hadn't been done yet at this stage, but we knew that we were in pot 3 at this stage, so we'd get a challenging group. I said we'd get runners up and draw a tough side in round of 16 and go out. We didn't. You said we wouldn't find success and that we'd get a group of death draw and crash and burn and drop to Europa. Fucking tick, tick, tick for you there, brother. Please ignore the advert there on the bottom right. There's nothing I can do about it. Such is the way of the modern world, you know. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. Also, it's not reflected of my search history because I'm banned from eBay. So please no suggestions on that front. So yeah, you got a tick on that. We both said about getting to the semis of the Coppa and losing to Inter. That's what I read before. Isaac said quarters in the Champions League and semis in the Coppa. Maddie around the 16. Win the Coppa. Did anybody else get it right? A lot of last 16 stuff in the Champions League. You were the only one to pick us to go out in the group stage. So there is that.
It's okay. I'll be really wrong pretty soon here.
Yeah, semi-finals, final in UCL for Ivan. That's a bold call. Coppa, yeah, a lot of Coppa Italia semi-finals, final of Coppa for Lorenzo. Yeah, neither went as planned. You know, we got bumped out of both. We got bumped out of the cup by Atalanta at home, which was deeply frustrating. Then, of course, finished third in our Champions League group and lost to Roma in the Europa League because only you picked us to drop into the Europa League. Nobody really went so far as to say we'd get to the quarters of the Europa League and lose to so-and-so. But yeah, obviously we ended up losing to Roma, and that's basically what cost Pioli his job. We move on to the Scudetto winner. Obviously, for everybody who picked Milan, the reasons have kind of been stated there. I picked Inter, said they got the best midfield in the league. They've lost players, but they still have Lautaro. Inzaghi's system remains a constant, and they'll be more consistent. Well, I got that right, and I'm not happy about it.
Isaac picked fucking Lazio.
Oh, mate. He had a mare. That's the worst pick. Having had a little scan through this before, that's the worst pick on the entire thing for me, is that. Maybe Ahmed saying Napoli to defend because they actually ended up finishing below Lazio. So that's definitely one. Maddie said C above. He's not referring to Isaac there. He's referring to the fact that he picked Milan to win the league, which is, you know, fair enough. And then we lost Kim's. We got Milan. Ivan said Milan. Nikita said Inter. We've not got a reason. He's a man of few words. Rohit said Inter too. Financially in dire straits, but Inzaghi a good tactician. Still got plenty of strength down. Yeah, all fine. Rajath also said Napoli. If you're wondering why Rohit and Rajath didn't pick in the previous section, it's because I sent the Champions League and Coppa thing out after because I forgot it. So that's my fuck up. The top four in order. Inter, Napoli, Milan, Lazio. That's not good. I messed up there. I said Napoli have kept their two best players up front, and Garcia isn't the colossal change some are making out stylistically. Oh, mate. Wow.
It's okay. It gets worse.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right, let's move on from that. AJ Milan, Juve, Napoli, Roma. So no Inter at all. I presume you'd just forgotten about their existence at this stage, or you were predicting financial demise before a ball was kicked.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, Napoli, Roma, tough one. But look, if you're looking down here, you're seeing Napoli in every single person's list. Everyone's. Every single person has Napoli in the top 4. So, I think that will probably extend across everybody who watches Serie A. We basically didn't call them to repeat, barring Ahmed, but we all knew that they'd drop off a bit. However, thought that they'd still be good enough to finish in the top 4. And I don't think that was too hot a take.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the gap they had from first to second last year, you figure even if they were to drop off 20 points, it'd still be third, second, whatever it was.
What
No
did they
one
drop off?
expects them
30
to
odd.
drop off 45, so where it went.
That's
Or was it
madness,
60?
man.
I really don't know. That wasn't even meant to be a diss. It just like genuinely.
No,
the
I think
number
it was
so high.
I think it was like, was it 39? Maybe.
Well, let's find out. I know they were over 40 points behind first this season.
Apologies for those
41
on
points
video.
behind first this season. And last year they had 90 and they went to 53 this year. So 37. Wow.
37. Yeah, that's bad. And we got a lot of shit for the worst title defense. Hold my beer, Napoli said. Yeah, Juve, a lot of picks for Juve, which was, I wasn't too hot on Juventus. I thought there was a lot of doubts about Allegri that have ended up manifesting in him losing his job. And I thought their squad was aging and lacking in any real star power because of Chiesa's injury proneness. Vlahovic didn't seem to be thriving under Allegri. However, they ended up getting in. They were ahead of us for a long time, but we ended up quite comfortably beating them to second place. But yeah, a lot of people called that. So because everybody put Napoli in the top 4, that means nobody got it right.
Correct.
We're all shit. We move on. 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now this is more difficult, obviously, because you're looking at the best of the rest. I put Juve, Roma, Atalanta. You put Lazio into Monza. Monza was a good shout. They'd done really well in their first season back, and they always seem to do smart business. There's a lot of the same teams coming up here. Atalanta, Roma, Lazio. Nobody put Bologna.
Probably my worst one, huh? My worst prediction. Monza got 12th. Inter, obviously, first by a long margin. Lazio was like 7th.
If you add up like the margin you were off, that's like,
yeah,
a lot of
also,
places.
Now we have to change it for next year since we have the 5 Champions League spots now.
That's correct. Yeah, it's going to be top 5 and then maybe 6th, 7th, 8th. Goodness knows. Something interesting about this is because obviously now we know who everyone picked 1 through 7. Not a single person mentioned Bologna, who obviously ended up finishing pretty safely in the top 4.
Yeah, they were
so they're the real surprise package of the season. Oh yeah, they were 5th. Sorry, yeah. They were the real surprise package of the season. Fair play to them. Got that one past all of us, but yeah, it's basically the same 4 teams. People picking between Atalanta, Roma, Lazio, and a bit of Juve in there as well for those who didn't pick them to finish in the top 4. Relegated teams. It was who was it who actually went down in the end? Frosinone, Salernitana.
Frosinone, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
okay.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's shouts were rogue on this because I think it was picking.
Torino's a rogue shout. They finished 9th from Isaac.
Where's Torino?
Isaac.
What a dickhead. He's had a shocker with this. And then he nailed the other 2, to be fair. But
yeah.
Few shouts for Verona, who obviously scraped up in the end and scraped up the season before. Shouts for Cagliari, which was understandable. They're one of the worst teams that we played this season. Lecce, yeah, understandable. I felt so confident on the Empoli shout, and in the end, they stayed up by 1 point, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No one picked Sassuolo.
No.
The one everyone's most happy about.
Yeah, that would have been quite a hot take, I think, because even though even though I think we all acknowledge that they couldn't keep getting lucky by selling players and replacing them with gems, I don't think we expected everything to fold the way it did last season. You know, not while they still have Berardi, Pinamonti scored a fair few goals. They've got Loriente on the left. You know, there's still. I thought there was enough to get them over the line there, and I still did right up until the final couple of games of the season. I just thought they'll find a way to stay up, and yet they've dropped. And for a team that, you know, had established itself in the top half of the table for a couple of seasons a few years ago, it's bad for their project. You know, it's bad for them really. And I think a few of their players will be leaving in cut price deals, but that's the cutthroat nature of Serie A. Like, you've got to pick up points regularly, otherwise you quickly get sucked down the table. Capocannoniere, so this is the top scorer in Serie A. I called Lautaro. I said that he'd score above 25. I don't know how many he actually ended up getting.
24.
24. Oh, fuck. Close enough. So, yeah, 24. And he did win the top scorer. Typo there from me, Osimhen. Osimhen did not stay healthy. So I think that ruined a lot of people's selections, is the fact that Osimhen once again had another injury-impacted season. I do agree with those shouts that people are saying about him being the best striker in Italy, and I think we all predicted Napoli to have a better season than we literally all did pick Napoli to have a better season than what they did. So presuming that Osimhen will get more goals comes hand in hand with that. However, yeah, he just had another difficult season. Isaac thinking that Immobile was going to fire Lazio to the title.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting because I also put Immobile in there if Osimhen didn't win, but he only got 3 non-penalty goals and 7 total. What happened to him this season? He really fell off.
Yeah, well, Lazio struggled, obviously.
I even said Leao. That's wild.
Yeah.
Leao's never been that
No,
bad.
I know. He also picked us to win the league, so maybe he was thinking this was Leao's 25-goal breakout season. I do think that the standard of the Capocannoniere has dropped a little bit. Like, it used to be that you needed 30 plus, and now it feels like you can win it with 25. You know, there's probably someone going to disprove that in the comments, but I just feel like this year at one point, I'm sure Lautaro was on for 30 plus and perhaps slowed down a little bit towards the end. But yeah, looking at Immobile here, obviously he turned 34, so I think naturally you're going to expect a bit of a dip from him. He still played 43 games across all competitions. He played 31 in the league. But he, looking at his injury history here, he had a little bit of a tormented time. He had a hamstring problem, another hamstring problem, and a knee problem towards the end of the season that caused him to miss quite a few games. So I guess he just wasn't at his best physically either. And he couldn't flat track Bully as a result. So yeah, Lautaro, Osimhen, all fine. Milan's top scorer. I believe that I extended this to being all competitions. Hence why I said Leao would get 20 plus in all competitions. He didn't quite. But basically everyone went for Leao.
I said it'd be Okafor would be a close second, but
if he became the starting striker, which he didn't. And
he had the
also,
best goals.
Yes. And Switzerland's manager slagged us off in the press yesterday. Did you see that? He said that Okafor's not arriving in optimal condition because he wasn't a starter at his club. So, okay, but he has been injured a fair bit. And also, you played him in 2 back-to-back friendlies that mean nothing before a major tournament. You want to talk to us about managing his condition. Yeah, everyone said Leao. Everyone said Leao. It wasn't. It was Giroud. Yeah. Maybe next season, eh? Oh, hopefully not, actually. Milan's most assists. Here we go, Leao. I was going for the double-double. And you said Pulisic.
Who was only off by 1, I believe. At least in the league. I don't know about the other comps.
I'm going to have a quick look and see if I can find the stats for all competitions. But basically all the same names in there. Leao. Oh, Lorenzo said Chukwueze. Tough one to take for him there. 10 to 13 assists, albeit had a bit of an injury-impacted season. Maxi agreed with you and said Pulisic. Rohit said Pulisic as well. I think we thought that the assists were coming from the wings. And yeah, Leao ended up winning it. I wanted to try and see what the actual table was. So let me just have a quick look. Squad statistics. So this takes into account all competitions, which is quite useful because normally it doesn't.
Liao had the most in all comps. He had 14. Pulisic was in second with 11. And Teo also had 11.
Yeah, Giroud had 9. Florenzi 7 because he was taking corners, obviously. Reinders 4, Calabria 4. So yeah, Leao 15 goals, 14 assists. Pulisic 15 goals, 11 assists. And then yeah, those were the front three. No surprise, were the leading contributors to the attack. Milan's player of the season, Leao. I said, you said Leao. Isaac said Maignan. I'd say you got that one wrong. A lot of Leao shouts, pretty much all Leao. Rohit said Reinders. I think he's a relatively solid candidate. He did well in his first season, but probably isn't player of the season.
Patriot bias.
Is
Rohit not from Indonesia?
He's Indian.
Oh, fuck. My bad, bro.
Speaking of compatriot bias, you didn't pick Pulisic, who is probably the answer. It's him or Leao. Probably Leao maybe edges it because of goal contributions, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's between them two.
Yeah, and Pulisic had 5 less cards, so
add them onto the goal contributions, and there you go. You've got a winner. Yeah, I mean, not too much to add on that. We all picked him basically for top scorer, top assists, so it was going to be player of the season. Milan's breakout player. You said Reinders for this, which I think was a good shout. I think he qualifies because, as you say, not a household name, but had a tough task given the midfield needed rebuilding after Tonali's exit. I said RLC.
Yeah, that's probably some compatriot.
Little bit, yeah. I just basically it was actually probably anti-Italian. In the sense that I thought that what would happen with him is we'd sign another player who couldn't get a look in at Chelsea and he'd come to Serie A and find it quite easy. And at the end of Feb, I think we'd have been looking at that and saying, yep, fair enough, because he was on 10 goals and he was in red-hot form. Then towards the last sort of 3 months of the season, his performance levels dipped. And I said I thought he was burnt out. He was starting double digits games in a row, but you know, his performance levels did dip, so that rules him out of that. But there was a time when that might have been a decent shout. Isaac said Kalulu. He's not had a good day, has he? He's not had a good poor bloke. I understand his reasoning for picking Kalulu. Again, it's probably with the assumption that he has an injury-free season, and he didn't. He had two problems that ruled him out for a decent stretch of time. Maddie said Musa. He wasn't. Lorenzo said Luca Romero, who fucked off in Jan. So, not good. Not good.
Oh, there's some crazy shouts in there. Bader saying ciao. If you heard the things he said during the games this season, you'd laugh at that. Hold on. Scroll up. Who was just said there by Maxi? Colombo.
Lorenzo Colombo.
Didn't he left.
Stay. He left.
He wasn't even there in the first half of the season.
And he did say if he stays and if not, Reinders. So, yeah. And then Ivan gave us an essay before deciding on Romero. Rohit said Romero too. Nikita said Romero. I'll tell you one thing, right? This was probably done with a bit of recency bias because we'd just seen him ball out in friendlies. Like he'd scored a couple of bangers in pre-season, and we were thinking, "Oh my god, this guy might even like knock on the door for a starting spot."
Yeah.
But obviously, then Pulisic took the starting spot. Chukwueze was back up. He didn't get much game time. Loaned him out to Almeria in La Liga, and he returns now. But yeah, just a little defense of those who said it at the time. It ended up being a horrendous shout. Ewan, bad shout, mate. Ciao. Yeah, and that's the end of that. So I'll stop sharing now. Fun.
We got another one.
You best believe we'll be doing that again for next season. And it's going to be even more fun given virtually everyone has changed their head coach aside from Inter and Atalanta. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be another chaotic summer in Serie A. So we're going to do it again. Now, one thing I want to know in the comments, because this is where we need some audience participation, should we do that article on September 1st, say, when the window is shut and the squads are locked in, so we know what we're evaluating, and there's no, if this player stays, then, or if we sign this player, then it could be, or should we be doing it before the first game of the season so that a ball hasn't been kicked and therefore we can't be impacted by what's happened on the field. I want to know what people would rather see. I personally think we do it the right way. We can't have had 2-3 rounds of Serie A action before we're making these calls, but we'll see what people want. Now we move on to the hot takes episode that we did on the bonus podcast. Now, this is a little peek behind the curtain. If you don't subscribe to us on Substack, you won't get the bonus podcasts, and you won't have had the hot takes episode when we did it. But just this once, we're going to let you see it. Fire it up.
Well, precursor.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't watched this yet, so I don't know what to expect either.
I only remember one of mine.
Yeah, and I do know as soon as I put the video up, it automatically starts playing, so it will be talking right away. But we're going to pause it as we go and just comment on it. So
One more thing. Didn't we say the categories have been split into a Milan hot take, a general hot take?
I don't remember.
And a player hot take. I can't remember if Isaac's left that bit in, but we'll see.
All right, without further ado.
But we've decided to, and I hope I did send a message out, so I hope you guys have followed this formula. But we decided we were going to do 3 hot takes. One was going to be related to Milan as a team. One was going to be related to a Milan player specifically. And then the third was going to be about Serie A in general. So it could be another team in Serie A, could be, about another player, into like anything that is outside of Milan. AJ, do you want to start off by virtue of alphabetical order?
All right. We're going to start this one with some real hot shit that no one's going to buy. But I think we're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to be undefeated by the Christmas break.
Ooh.
All right.
Oh, wow, brother.
So let's see. How did we go? Obviously, we lost to Inter, which was
in round 4.
The 4th game of the season, but I think that was actually the only one, right?
We lost 7. We won 7 of our first 8, and we actually jumped back above Inter.
And we drew against Napoli and Juventus. So let me see. You know what?
We
lost to Juventus, and we drew
1-0 the red card game. You
1-0.
meant in the league, obviously, as well. So
right. I was pretty damn close. Oh wait, opening 10. I said Christmas break, huh?
Yeah.
So 4 games, lost 4. That's a lot. That should have been our season total,
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, look how fucking shredded I used to be, dude. What happened? Like, I was in good shape wearing these tight ass shirts, and I had already baggy ones because I'm just chunky. Anyways, back to the gym for me.
I don't know what's going on with me. I'm wearing a Yorkshire shirt, like a cricket shirt for some. And USA are now good at cricket, by the way. So parade that as another thing. And there's balloons in the background. It must have been my birthday, I think. A little bit.
Yeah, it would have been yours.
Yeah. Play on.
Wow. I think once we get past those first 10 games, and I'm not saying we're going to win all of them. We're going to draw probably quite a few. But I think once we get past those first 10 games, it's going to be smooth sailing. The team's going to have clicked already, all the tough tests behind them, and I think they're going to pass those tests as well.
Maddie, do you want to go next?
I don't have one. No. I want, it's hard to have a hot take when your hot take is already that you chose Milan to win the league, right? I'm going to stick with that. I think a hot take is that they will win the league because it is a long shot.
It's a long shot. What a load of shit.
Yeah, pop out answer.
All right. I'll give him a little bit of credit, right? Because, not credit. Well, basically, people might not have seen our predictions on the site, and they might not have seen our predictions video. So, let's say they're hearing for the first time that Maddie thinks that we're going to win the league. Okay, fair play. He ended up being wrong anyway, so we can move on. Mine is that, and this is unusually optimistic for me, but I'm going to ride with it. I think we will have 4 players who score double digits next season.
Ooh,
I think
like that.
And I'm going to say, can get in.
That you hit that.
Name?
Yeah, you hit it.
Yeah. We had Giroud, Leao, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek. Jovic came close with 9, and I think I picked Chuck as one of them. We'll find out. in all competitions, which is a bit of a cop-out, but, that then gives us like 45 games, whatever. So I think Leao will be one of them. I think Giroud does it because he takes penalties. He's going to start enough games to do that, and he's going to have better service from both sides, which I think is important. I think Chukwueze does it. By all accounts, he's been absolutely incredible in training, and I think it's a matter of time before we see him starting games. But I also think Pulisic does it. I'm gonna say that he'll be the third one to do it. The fourth one to do it. And if it's not him, then it might be someone surprised like Loftus-Cheek. Scoring those goals, late runs from midfield, that kind of thing. Now we move on to the individual. Fuck me! What? Why didn't I? Oh, there was no market to bet on that. But
damn,
yeah. I mean,
job.
Yeah. I did name the 4 players, but 3 out of 4, we'll call it.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 out of 4. That was impressive. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Milan player takes.
Oh, am I going first again? That makes sense.
You're back around.
So this one, it's slightly not this season, but it's relevant to this season. I think come next summer, Leao's release clause is activated. He's gone, and Pulisic was signed with replacing Leao in mind. I think next season it's going to be Pulisic on the left and Chukwueze on the right as our starting wingers, and it's just bye-bye Leao. This is a swan song season.
I think.
I hope I'm
wrong. Do you know what?
But
right?
Right.
That can still be proven right, or it could be proven wrong. But I'll give you a bit of credit in the sense that I can't remember who it was. It was a decent source, or maybe multiple sources that said that Saudi Arabian team Al Hilal are willing to trigger his release clause, but you don't want to go there. So if you put a little asterisk next to it, a team are willing to pay that amount of money for him. But
I think my thought process was we all knew Mbappe was leaving for free, right? And we all figured that PSG is going to try to replace him with someone, and it has to be a big money signing, or else it just won't feel the same. If PSG go about it the smart way and sign like 5 or 6 players to plug holes, and they're all 35, 40 mil, and build a really great team, it won't get the same receptions if they just bring in a superstar. So that's kind of where my thought process might have been, I believe. But yeah, hopefully.
And Chelsea had apparently formulated an offer in the weeks prior before he renewed and stuff. So yeah, it's fair.
Pulisic is going to be our starting right winger all season, and he is going to hit 15 plus goals. And
on the fucking dot. Wow. Well
Darian
done,
Toth. Wow.
No, you're not laughing now, are you?
No, man. Fair enough, Maddie. You nailed that. Nailed
He's
that.
going to get $20.
I was going to say, so I'm winning the bet.
I
Bet against his own bet.
Good in a hot takes episode to bet against your own bet.
Yeah.
I think that kind of undoes it all.
AJ goes, "You're betting against your own countrymen." I was like, "I like money, dog."
Yeah, fair point. I really struggled on this one, to be honest. I had a few that were floating around my head. What I've settled on is something that I guess this isn't the spiciest, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Kalulu's going to start the season as the right back, and he's going to continue as our starting right back for the majority of the next campaign. Now we move on.
We should discuss that.
Clowned on Isaac. Clowned on Isaac for picking Kalulu as like breakout player or whatever.
Well, he was the
injury.
He was a breakout player in the sense that he broke the most times.
Yeah, got it wrong. Look, sometimes, in the words of the tennis player David Nalbandian after he kicked a linesman, sometimes we do a mistake. And I did a mistake there. I said something that didn't end up being true. So, he did it. The linesmen in tennis are inside these little wooden box type things.
Yeah.
He didn't like a call, so he went and booted this wooden box, and the wooden panel just went straight through onto the linesman's shin and like completely busted it open. And he got kicked out of the tournament as a result, and like he got a ban for it. And then in the press conference afterwards, in his broken English, bless him, he was like, "Sometimes we do a mistake." So that's one way to put it. It's assault, but yeah.
On to the Serie A hot takes. If you got more than one, then let's just fire them out there, because I came up with a few for this.
Well, my first one is I think no Serie A team will be in the Champions League quarterfinals this season.
Only one.
Was I right? I don't know.
Inter got knocked out by Atletico in the quarters.
Fuck's sake, man. Well,
Only one.
I was
Only
close
one
though.
though.
Only
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I think they're all crashing out early. I think us specifically might not even make it out of the group. I got a weird hunch we're getting a really shitty draw. And the fact that I said we're going to go undefeated in the opening stanza of the season leads me to believe that we're not going to do that well in the Champions League. So I think we might not even make it out of the group, and no one's making it out of the round of 16. I don't know about Europa League or Conference League. I don't count those as real competition, so that does matter to me. But yeah, I think all this calcio is back, and us dominating the semis last season, it just ain't true. We got lucky draws.
But
top ranked league in Europe now.
I'm counting that as a win. I don't care.
I believe that the league MVP is going to come from outside the top 4.
Oh, I like that. You're wrong, but I like it.
It's hot take.
All right, I'll go.
It's Lautaro, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a
It's always
stupid
the
shit
best
where
player
like
on the team.
whatever category that player comes from, they can't then be in like the best forwards or the midfield MVP. It's bizarre. Like I've never known that in any other league. But yeah, it was Lautaro. Yeah, I know, man.
Why not just let the best player win 2 awards? It's not that crazy.
Well, he was both. He was factually the best player and factually the best striker. Like, let him. I hate the guy, little ice gem looking fucker. But you know, he can claim his 2 awards.
I'll go with my first one, and this is just a pure gut feeling. I think Sassuolo are in a relegation battle this year,
and there's going to be some huge injuries.
Okay, apparently I just skipped ahead. But wow, what a shout!
Why didn't I call
him
that
to go down? But you know,
did we record? Do we have a date for the recording of this? Let me just see if I can scroll back.
I can find out. But that's funny.
Yeah. So I didn't call it in the article. Or I mean, in theory, I didn't call it there. I just said that they're in a relegation battle. I didn't say specifically that they would go down. I'm just scrolling down here. Those are goodbyes. Hot takes, August 18th, and it was therefore on the same day that the article went out. So no excuse there. But I guess I just covered my bets by picking another team to potentially go down. And then you're on to another one here, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know why it skipped ahead. Isaac did the editing for this. So.
Nice one, Muller.
And some people are going to miss the majority of the season. I don't know who, but there's always one. So,
tick.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's a win. It was probably a layup, to be honest, in hindsight.
Was that about us then? I presume.
Oh yeah, because we did Serie A and then a Milan one, right?
Well, this wasn't meant to be the Serie A one, but I think at this point I said, like, just let's fire them out if you've got any more that didn't make the list. And you said about us having continued injury problems, which was correct.
I mean, it wasn't the hottest take, but it
was pretty lukewarm.
It's a check mark in my box, so
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do something that I just wanted to double check if it's semi-feasible. I'm gonna go with it. Monza are gonna win the Coppa Italia.
Oh,
what a ticket!
Yeah, they didn't.
Who did they even go out to?
Fuck. Who did that? I have no idea.
I want to hear my justification while I research the bracket.
Looking at their path here, can you just give me 1 second here?
Sure.
I think
the host.
They weren't even in the bracket.
Never mind, they got knocked out a few days.
They're not even in it. That's the hottest take of them all.
Oh my god,
that is awfully a hot take there, buddy.
I'll throw another one for.
Oh, that's a howler.
I meant for next year. Holy shit. Isaac kept that in, bastard. I'll remember that. But yeah, fair enough. Clown on me for that.
But I think Allegri and Mourinho do not make the season. They do not last the entire season.
Fucking get in.
And
Allegri
we're
on
gonna
the
do-
technicality.
Slight asterisk because Allegri made it to the final game or the game before
Got
the
sacked
final
after the
game.
cup final, didn't he? After he
After
basically
winning.
yeah. Yeah. But I'll take that.
do some takes that are a little bit different, a little bit edgy. Some of them very edgy. Some of them red hot. I think they're going to be.
Oh, it
but-
started.
Let's come back to the start. Yeah.
That was
Okay.
it,
There we
yeah.
go. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Look, the couple there that were worth a punt. The bookies will not have accepted a bet on Monza to win the cup at that point. But everything else, I think we did all right, man. We did pretty good.
Yeah, look, I mean, we never called ourselves experts. You guys in the comments do when you're mad, but sometimes we're right. Sometimes we're way off. It is what it is, man. Life as a fan's crazy, so.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Let us know if you want to see the same again or any alterations you'd like to see to the formula and the way that we did it. And let us know if you've got any hot takes for next season. Obviously, it's early, and the summer window hasn't even opened yet. But that segues us into the one major talking point that we've got to do. If we can fire up that label, if it exists.
I do have it. Okay.
So since we last recorded, we are now, it seems, on the verge of signing Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna. The deal is as follows. He's got a 40 mil release clause. So there's no negotiation to be had on the transfer fee. We just pay that from July the 1st. It's a 4 to 5 million net per season deal running until 2029. It'd be a 5-year deal. The stumbling block at the moment seems to be the commissions that are owed to his agent, Kia Jurabichan. Is that right?
I know his name's Kia. That's all I know.
Yeah. He wanted 15 mil. It seems it's been brought towards a meeting point. Obviously, I think we can all acknowledge, and we want Milan to get the best deal possible here, but we can all acknowledge that Zirkzee is probably worth a bit more than 40 by market value. Not in terms of the goals he scored, but you pay for potential and you pay for the fact that he's a number 9 and that he's young and stuff. So I think his agent Kia is trying to drag that up north of 50 and also line his own pockets. Whereas we're like, okay, we could maybe budge a bit towards the 50 mark, but 15 mil in agent commissions is ridiculous. When you consider that Bologna will only pocket 25 mil, roughly 24 mil of the clause being paid because they owe 40% to Bayern, all of a sudden you've got the agent making near enough the same as the two clubs that are instigated in the deal. So I am glad that we are principled on that and that we're standing firm. We could probably go on a big rant about agents here, but we kind of know how they operate and we know that Milan don't like playing those games. But in this sense, we're probably going to have to bite the bullet. Sesko's been taken off the market. Jimenez will cost a lot more. But I guess, yeah, how do we feel about Zirkzee being in potentially as the first sign in the summer?
I mean, look, it's good. It means we're moving fast, moving early. I mean, we haven't even announced our manager yet, even if it does seem like everyone knows it's Fonseca. There still could be a twist. It still could be Conceição, like neither of them have been appointed anywhere. So, and I think it'd be very fitting of this management to be leaking that one name's done and then turn on it just to make everyone in the media look like clowns. I could see that happening. Now, is it going to be Fonseca? I think so. But I would love to see just a last second switch just to make everyone look stupid. But anyways, that has nothing to do with Zirkzee. I just think it means that we're moving quick. We need to do that. We have a lot of holes to fill, and we moved quick last summer too. So it makes sense to continue that. The more practice they get as a team, the better. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm just reading on Twitter right now that one of Kia's right-hand men, Gianmaria Montesano, is in Italy, is in Milano at the moment to hold some talks over Zirkzee. So things are moving pretty quickly. I wasn't there, but some of the management flew out to London, which is where Kia lives, and where Zirkzee apparently is on vacation. So I think some talks were held here. I didn't see them on my road. I kept my eye out, but they weren't here. So maybe we made a lot of ground in that. If it comes in around the 47 mark, something like that. It's, say we meet down the middle on the commissions. I'm fine with that. I think, yeah, as I said, biting the bullet is the perfect expression. Like, you have to pay more for potential. You have to pay more because of the position. He did still get double digits goals. The feeling is that he can grow. It's not just that. It's what he offers when he's not scoring goals. Like, he will change the way that we play. And if everybody's agreed that this is the guy, Zlatan in particular, who... I've seen a lot of comparisons with Zlatan, and I think that they're good ones because Zlatan wasn't an elite level scorer early in his career either. He was smarter with his movement and he used his size, and technically he was pretty silky to watch. And then he transitioned into obviously this perennial 25 plus scorer. And I think the feeling is that Zlatan can help him get there. So that's something to consider. I'm happy because of the timing of it. And I'm happy with, hopefully it gets over the line. There can be twists and turns. It could yet be somebody else. But presuming that this does get wrapped up in the next few days, as the reliable journalists are saying, and based on the info we have as well, then I think it shows that we've moved with efficiency. And I tell you what, beyond the player that we're getting, it feels nice to win the race for someone who's highly sought after. Normally a player like this explodes and you're thinking, well, he's going to the Premier League. We've not a chance. But we might actually be able to put together a package that's within our reach. The player wants to come as well. That's a big factor and a big plus. And I really hope this happens now, Yeah. Would I have preferred Gyökeres? Would I have preferred Sesko? Perhaps a little bit. However, we're here now. And I think we have to understand the sort of way that we operate, and we're never going to go for the most expensive gamble. I just don't think that that's going to be our way. So we go for perhaps the most calculated gamble, and this is what we've come to, and this is our guy. And if it gets over the line, I will back him all the way. And it'd be interesting to see what Fonseca does with him. Obviously, he's not going to the European Championships either because Netherlands didn't call him up, which means that he will have the full pre-season with us and he will play in each of the friendlies out in the States and stuff. So that is good news. That is really good news. So, yeah, that's the main talking point. Let us know in the comments what you think about Zirkzee. We will do a couple of questions and then wrap it up for this week. Excuse me. Someone asking if he thinks... This is Hevanly asks if we're going to use Zirkzee as an attacking midfielder instead of a striker, leaving Zirkzee or someone else up top. No, I don't. However, brings about something interesting as a follow-up. I think it does denote that we're going to change formation formally to a 4-3-3, just because of the areas that Zirkzee occupies. He's been described as a 9.5, which means he's like a playmaker-striker hybrid. Some people won't like that. Some people would rather we went for a target man, an out-and-out centre-forward who fills the area. However, I think that there isn't, especially with RLC's decline towards the end of last season, and it's sort of a luxury having an attacking midfielder at times, in high-level games. I think we'll see more of a transition to a 4-3-3 because Zirkzee's going to fill a much bigger area centrally. But I don't think we'll see him as a number 10.
Yeah, I think everyone wants a striker that's going to score you the 20, 25 goals a season, right? Like that's every fan's dream, is that your team has that guy on the main stage leading the line. But I think the smart thing to do is build a team around the players you currently have, build a system around the players you have. And I think when you look at what we currently have already, we have two wingers that can get a lot of goals and a lot of assists. And we had a striker who helped in that front. He also had a lot of goals and 9 assists. So he fit the bill. So that's what you want to replace our Giroud's numbers, but you also want to improve on them. So you get a guy like Zirkzee who is going to drop back. And let's be real, Giroud did as well. Now, it wasn't his intention. It's just because he's slower and older with us, but he kind of evolved into that role. So now you put a guy who actually does that, who does it pretty well and is young and fast, who could then push forward on our counters, which we do a lot of. I think that's going to work out better for the team in the long run. And Zirkzee may not end up on 25 goals next season, but Leao could, Pulisic could. I think his presence in the team is going to help everyone else build. So it's a good signing for the team. It's not the flashy name, it's not the crazy goal scorer, but I think it's going to work out better for us.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's going to bring the best out of the players around. And you mentioned there we've got, Leao and Pulisic, who we presume are going to be the starting wingers heading into next season. I also think he's going to help Chukwueze a lot too. Because if you've got two I guess, literally arrows, two very direct wingers who like to run in behind. What you want is somebody to drag defenders out and create that space, which I think Zirkzee can do. He takes pens too, so that's good. We needed a penalty taker. I think his record's pretty good, but don't quote me on that. So what do you think it means for the backup position? Because it was Matteo Moretto who reported that Jovic has kind of asked Milan for a bit of clarity on what the plans are for him and for next season. In the sense that I think he knows that he's going to have another season of just minutes off the bench, and he maybe wants better at this stage in his career.
Yeah, look, if anyone wants to leave when they're told that they're going to be the backup, and how old is Jovic? Should be 26, 27?
26,
like that?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're entering your prime years as an athlete. It's fair to ask those questions, right? Now, is he going to be a starting caliber guy at a top team? Probably not. But he got a decent amount of goals this season off the bench. And I think he could find himself in a two-striker formation at another team, maybe Germany, an upper mid-level team there, and do pretty well, because that's what he does best in a two-striker formation, and we're simply not running that. If that was the promise that we gave him, was this is Giroud's last season and then you're taking over, and then we bring in a record-signing striker for us, then I see him saying, hey, guys, what's my role here? Especially if Okafor's showing to be as good as he is and becomes the guy off the bench, then you got to start asking questions. Am I okay with being the third striker?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is probably no. Not if you have even a slight amount of ambition, So, maybe he takes a loan somewhere. Maybe he asks for just a straight move in general. Well, it wouldn't be a loan, because if he has to leave,
he's out of contract.
Yeah, he's out of contract. So,
yeah, I've got something on continuing on the hot takes theme. I wouldn't be surprised to see interlinked with him. They've been linked before. They play two up front, and they want to replace Arnautovic. And because then they'd have, and this would frustrate the hell out of me, they'd have Lautaro Thuram and then Taremi Jovic. And you've got three players there who have obviously a lot of attachment to us in one way or another. But yeah, we'll see on that one. Obviously, another big talking point, which I think we need to cover in an upcoming episode, is about the under-23 team. Obviously, we're not ignoring the news on that front, but official confirmation is going to come on Friday that Ancona have not been able to register for Serie C next season. That gives us our slot. We should do a deep dive in that in a future episode, but just so we're not ignoring the news. Final question, Michael Gambino. With Zirkzee reportedly a done deal, how hard will Milan try for Buongiorno? Cairo is always a problem. What gets it done? 30 euros, I presume it means million. 30 million plus Pobega, 25 plus Salamakers or Pobega. Where do we
I don't think we
after
get it
this
done at all.
deal? No,
I don't think we get him. I think Napoli's pushing a lot harder, and they're offering more cash, and they've been turned down. Yeah, we have counterparts, but does anyone value Pobega or Salamakers high enough to justify that reduced price? And by anyone, I mean, does Chiaro, who is notoriously very difficult to deal with? I don't see it happening. I could see Napoli extending themselves because they've proven that they're willing to spend on occasions. We saw with Osimhen, the top guy. I can't believe I forgot his name there, but I could see them spending big and getting Buongiorno. I think we might even go to the negotiation table with Atalanta over the CDK stuff and maybe try to sweeten a deal for Scalvini, because we are going to go for a new center back, and I think it would be wise to keep Italians.
Be out until Christmas though, Scalvini, unfortunately, but maybe that.
Christmas.
Yeah, he's done his ACL, so that's an 8-month job. It might even be the new year, to be honest. But yeah, that sucks for him. However, maybe it strengthens our negotiating position a bit. I don't know how he comes back after that injury. We'll have to see. Buongiorno, I do see him going more towards Napoli, and it's the Conte factor. They're going to play 3-man defense now, and he'd be perfect for the middle of it. Let's be honest. However, the stories are that he wants to take a step forward in his career and to play Champions League football. Napoli can't offer that. We can. So would that give us an advantage? We also have players that Torino want, apparently. Milan News said that they want Pobega. Tuto Sport said they want Salamakers. So could we formulate some package that gets Cairo to think, okay, we're getting the cash and a couple of useful players for the new head coach? Those are the only things to hang on to. But yeah, it does seem like Napoli.
Both, then I could see it maybe working.
I
But it's not
don't
going to be
for
one of
both.
them plus 25.
I think it makes sense to offer both, to be honest. We know we have no use for Salamakers, but we should probably get the 10 mil clause for him that was agreed with Bologna. Pobega definitely isn't good enough. And if we signed Bongiorno, we'd be signing an Italian player, which kind of negates the squad list issue thing that, homegrown and stuff. I'd offer it up. I'd see, because I do think that he could be a rock for years to come. However, then there's like you weigh up for the centre-back debate. Do you go for Bongiorno, who would probably be enough on his own in the sense that he's 24, he knows Serie A really well. He's already been captain at Torino, so, he's got a bit of leadership about him. Or do you go for like someone a bit less proven, like Brassier at Brest or Lacroix at Wolfsburg, and then you also bring in someone like Hummels, on a free to be an experienced head? What would serve us better? And I would always tend towards the leadership, and I think Hummels would be a good pickup. Sky Germany said last night that he wants to move to Italy, and that we were the only club mentioned in the report as being interested. So that might be something to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I've always been a Hummels fan. I think he's obviously past it, but I like him, so I support it.
Yeah. 35, obviously led Dortmund to a Champions League final, and crucially, he had no injuries last season. So that's rare to see. It won't last with us, don't get me wrong. But we'll wrap it up there anyway. Hope you guys are enjoying these kind of off-season episodes that we're doing. We really appreciate that you've all been so active still in the community. Let us know your thoughts on everything that we discussed in this week's episode. I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. AJ, cheers for joining.
Yep, always a pleasure. And we'll see you guys Friday with the bonus.
And one thing to mention is that I'm jetting off to Germany for the Euros. So our main pod schedule may alter a day here and there. Like, for example, I believe we've penciled in next Wednesday to record the main, just because that's when I've got a day off while I'm over there. So it may just move about a little bit, but given that there's no actual games to talk about, we hope that you don't find that too annoying. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week.
Gol! Ancora Teo! È una meraviglia! Il gol di Teo Hernandez da un'area all'altra! È una meraviglia! Senti il mio cuore!